I hope you are all doing well. I thought that I would get out here and chat about the effects of trauma. So, I don't know if you guys know or not, but I wrote a 20-page free guide to help African American women. And why did I choose? I think all women have gone through some sort of trauma. So let me say that. But I wrote this guide specifically for African American women because I am an African American woman. I come from an African American woman, and I see the effects of trauma in our lives. I see the effect of trauma in my life. I've seen it in my mother's life. I've seen it in my children's life. Um, and I just was watching something, and trauma is devastating. And one of the things that I want to talk about is how do we move from just being in survival mode from just surviving to thriving. But before we even get there, I want to talk about what trauma is and what trauma isn't. So trauma is not grief. Grief, the definition of grief is grief dissipates, it goes away. Usually you have grief when you have lost a loved one, yada yada yada. Trauma is a continual build. So I could be traumatized in an area and it turn into PTSD or it turn into something else. There's different levels of trauma. But I don't necessarily want to talk about trauma. I want to talk about the effects of trauma and what those effects do to us as African American women. Not all African American women, right? Because I see some women out here tearing it off. Like they have leveled up, they're doing their thing, yada yada yada. And when I see that, hats off to you because I think that's wonderful. I think that's a wonderful place to be. But I also know that there are some of us out here that are not at that level yet. There are some that are still hanging on to the fear, the grief, the things that trauma left behind. Trauma is not the incident, it's what it's left behind that causes the trauma. It's the shock to the nervous system, it's the shock to the mind, it's the shock to the heart, it's the shock to the spirit from that one act. And that one act delivers such a blow that it not only causes at times me to or you to be affected, but then you have generational trauma. And I know the effects of generational trauma as well. So at some point, I'm saying what I'd like to do is to help us move from that trauma. I want to help us move from the effects of what trauma has done for us. You know, I've heard in I've heard in my spirit God saying, what if? What if I really did level up and release some of the hurt and things that people left at my doorstep? What if I turn that pain into purpose? What if I could what if I could use all that to catapult me to where it is that I'm supposed to be? What if? I know as much as we talk about things that hurt us, sometimes it's hard for us to understand that everything that's sent our way isn't as harmful as it is. We have to learn how to take the lesson out of that hurt and turn it into something else. See, I believe that anything that just stays still is stagnant, and stagnation stinks. The example of that is if you leave dishwater in your sink too long, it starts to smell. I don't think that's any different than my mind staying in a certain place and it starts to just stay there. I never move, I never grow. I never get to what it is that I've always been trying to get to. The promises to myself, the promises that God had for me. I never got there because my mind, or I was so traumatized by what I seen. Every time I see it, I clench up. That's the effects of trauma. And I believe that everything coming my way is just like that. It's not. But what trauma does is keep you in that fearful space. Ruby's daughter wants to help you move from that fear to a place that you can grow, a place that a place that nobody else can take away from you. Trauma. I read something in a Facebook post the other day. There's a guy out there by the name of Feel Good, and I have to tell you that Feel Good said something that I just thought, wow, you're right. I don't. How dare you come and drop your trauma off at my door? How dare you come and drop stuff off at my door and leave me wounded, and leave me bruised, and leave me battered? You've gone on about your business, but I'm still stuck. That's what Ruby's daughter wants to help you do. Ruby's daughter wants to help you move from that stuck place and get to the place and the destination that God has always intended for you to get to. That's to freedom. That's to everything that you can possibly imagine. God gave me 3 things the other day. He says, tell them this. He says, what if I told you that you can have anything that you ever wanted? But there are 3 steps by which you have to take in order to complete that process. 1, you have to resolve your trauma. You have to face your fears. You have to resolve that trauma. That trauma are your fears, the things that you think are going to happen if you don't. They got you stagnant. They got you moved. You just holding on. You got to let go of that. You got to progress. We're not responsible. You can never be responsible for what somebody else has done to you. But you are responsible for how you perceive that thing. You are responsible for moving past that notion. That's what you're responsible for. And that's what I want to help you get past. See, I've been in your shoes. I've been in a place where I've been so traumatized by which I can't get my thoughts out. I can't get my thoughts across. I can't move. I can't grow. I got tired of being in that place. I got tired of feeling like, what if? If everybody, I'm saying today, what if? What if I could do what everybody else? What if I could level up to the purpose that God has always wanted me to be at? What if? What if my pain, as painful as it wasn't to debilitate me, to knock me down, but to actually help me to get up so that I could help somebody else? What if? What if all the answers are really inside of me, which I know that they are? What if? Where would I be then? I definitely wouldn't be in a place of stagnation. I suffer too from traumatic things. I've decided not to stay there because those things are not going to help me. Those things are hindering me. I'm never going to get to who God wants me to be or where it is that God wants me to be. And I'm never going to get to that place that I've always destined, that I thought that I could be at. What if? So the first thing was you need to resolve your trauma. Number 2, you need to release your fears. There's a lot of things that come with trauma. At some point, you're going to have to release them. You can't hold on to them and grow. I can't hold on to this and move that way. Because if I'm still holding on here, I can't let go. I'm holding on, I can't move. I'm stuck. And then the third is become who you have always been destined to be. That's what Ruby's Daughter wants to help you do. We want to help you grow. We want to help you work through those issues of your fears. We want to help you work through the issues of your trauma. We want to help you work through the issues of your limiting beliefs. We want to help you work through the issues of your self-esteem. We want to help you work through the issues in the love of self. I wish that somebody would have been able to take my hand when I was getting when I was on this journey in the beginning of of my process of me becoming who I am today. I wish I would have had someone there. Well, that's who Ruby's Daughter is for you. Ruby's Daughter is a safe place for you to heal, to grow, to prosper, and to become who it is that God has always destined and desired for you to be. If you have not had the chance and or the opportunity, I will make sure that you have the link to our new guide called Healing Trauma and Thriving During the Holidays. It's not just a holiday guide. This guide is able to help you along your journey, whether it was the holidays or whether it isn't. We want you to have this to help you start to think about what it would look like for you to level up into the person that you've always wanted to become, level up into into the person that God has always destined you to be. He placed this upon my heart after looking at a commercial for a wine commercial, and he reminded me that not everyone is thriving during the holidays. Not everyone is thriving every day. There are some people out here who are stuck in survival mode. We want to help you get from there so that you can thrive and get to your destined place. Again, I will make sure that you have the link for Healing Trauma and Thriving During the Holidays. Check it out. It's free, and it will definitely give you some tips, some hints, and some pointers about you becoming who it is that you want to become. But it does come with work. You can't do it if you don't let go of some things. So I want to thank you. Again, my name is Michelle. I am the CEO and founder of Ruby's Daughter. I am Ruby's Daughter. And I am excited not only about your journey, but our journey together. And if you don't have a place by which you are currently checking out or in a group, listen, we have a Facebook group. I'll make sure that that Facebook group is provided to you. Come on over and join us. It's a safe place, again, for you to heal and grow. Thanking you, sending you love and light.